Welcome back to episode 6 of the Melbourne Retro Gaming Podcast. I'm joined with Parfo, my co-host. As always, how are you, Parf?
I'm good, how are you?
I am not so good because today I picked up a new Street Fighter and it is shit.
Not a big fan?
No, well, I'm a big fan of the franchise, but this new game, it almost feels like it's not finished and it's very annoying. I was there at 9 o'clock to pick it up this morning and was very excited to get home, popped it in, did the update, and only to find that the game is probably, I'd say, half finished.
You've been talking about this game for a while now. You were quite excited for it. You were pumped for today.
Yeah, well, I actually took the day off work just to play it. And I came home to find that there's a limited story mode. The online play is a bit shaky, but it's mostly okay. But the game doesn't really offer anything in terms of content.
Okay.
Also, there's only, I think it was 15 or 16 characters, which is 5 brand new characters. So, you don't have your Blankers, you don't have your Guiles, you don't have your Kens. Kens, you don't have your Dans, though, who's my favourite character.
Okay, so you're missing your classic characters start off with the game.
Yeah, well, it almost feels like they're just prepping it to do what they would have done with all the other Street Fighters, where they go Street Fighter 5 Alpha, Street Fighter 5 4 Arcade Tournament, Fighters, Sewers, Big Apple 4am,
3am?
3am, yeah, just setting up for future games, which I hate. Now, what we were just discussing prior to coming on the show was Capcom's last breath. Is this the end of them? Is this something that fans are going to look at and go, this is one of your biggest franchises and you really let us down?
Yeah.
Here in Australia we pay upwards of $100 for this game, whereas compared to the US who might pay around $60 to $70 for a brand new game. But to pay that much for a game which has limited content, is this something, I know Capcom's been letting a lot of people down, but is this something that is going to lead to, a mass outcry of what the fuck? Questioning towards Capcom.
Okay, yeah, so they're pretty much just focusing on DLC, yes? Is that what you're saying?
Well, there hasn't really been, as far as I'm aware, any announcements of character packs or anything like that, but it would have been nice to see, a full roster from day one.
Yeah.
You can't even play player versus computer. There's no option.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, it's just, that's how bad it is. It's not a bad game. It looks great. It looks great aesthetically, and it's got a prelogue for a story mode, but it's not. There's a lot of announcements coming in March and updates which are coming, but I don't understand why they couldn't just have done it for day one. Why not?
Yeah. So pretty much like with games in the past, they they worked all this time to release a final end product, and that's how it was going to be.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be. You shouldn't be relying on DLC and downloadable content to make them some extra money along the way.
Yeah.
Release a final game that is perfect and fans are going to love and talk about for the upcoming years.
Yeah, well, they're taking advantage of a good situation, and the fans are only going to stay around so long before they're like, nah, no chance.
Yeah.
Because back when, say, retro consoles were around, if you bought a cartridge game that wasn't finished, what were you going to think? That game wouldn't even be talked about these days.
No.
What makes them think they can get away with it this day and age?
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just stupid. And yeah, that really annoyed me because a game like this, I only get a new Street Fighter game, once every 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
Apart from those mini sequels they do. But, for me it was really exciting, and it's actually one of the only games that I've gone day one to get it paid full retail for.
Yeah.
Gone home to play it, and it's really disappointing. Being such a huge game fan that I am, for that to happen, it's just like, what is happening to the industry, and why is Capcom getting away with this when they've had troubles in the past with these exact problems?
Yeah, I agree. Like, you love Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter Cross with Tekken.
Yeah, I did. I really loved it. I bought it on the Vita and the PS3 just because I love playing it so much.
I thought they were both awesome games, and I used to come over to your place, and we used to try and beat the single-player mode, and it got really hard.
Yeah, it did. Look, but those games, they had so much content from day one.
Yeah.
And
that's how it should be.
I know they were building off something that was already established with Street Fighter 4, but they had to design all the characters
Yeah.
for the Tekken series and incorporated even the story mode. Like, it was all in there, and I don't understand. Like, this is supposed to be one of the biggest franchises in the gaming community.
Yeah.
And they release something like this, which it really falls short of the mark.
No.
Like, whatever happened to putting the best into something and getting the best possible outcome? It just, you know, like, it as I said, it is a good fighting game. It's like, it's great to play.
Yep.
But it just has nothing in it.
Okay. And there was a few censored moments in the game, I believe, with the 2 female characters.
Yeah, I don't really know too much about that. I think it was to do with Mika and one of the other ones.
Cammy, I think it was.
Yeah, look, these characters, they always have been sort of, they, you know, show a lot of skin or, you know,
Yep.
big assets and stuff like that. That's just the way it's always been.
Yep.
I don't know why we need to censor it. Like, I'm sure people can handle it. All they have to do is drive down, you know, Punt Road these days, and there's a billboard advertising for strippers and
That's right, there
waitresses.
is. There is.
I don't think kids are really hidden from that anymore. You know, like, we got people in the media who have become famous because of questionable reasons to do with, like, their sexuality and stuff. So I don't think it's really an issue to have animated sprites of characters with, you know, wearing revealing clothing when all they have to do is a quick Google search to the previous game to see what they would have looked like. And now, just because it's on a new, like, it gets... I don't know if Australia has different laws to other countries, but...
Yeah, I think America's a bit more lenient than us. Like, remember Mortal Kombat 9? We didn't even get it over here because it was that violent. Yeah, and then I think we got it later on or something. Oh, we didn't get GTA at the start either. They took that back. Yeah, like, they censored, I believe it was GTA 3 with the prostitutes, where people were just beating them up after a good time in the car. Yeah, I think when they did the dual pack for the Xbox of San Andreas and Vice City, was it? I'm not sure. When they came out on the Xbox, the double pack, they released them and they took them off the shelf and they put them back on the shelf. So, you know, like, I don't think video games are as bad as people think. You know, like, that's probably a time for another podcast. But, you know, people, just to touch quickly on it, I don't think that affects people the way a lot of people think. Oh, definitely. You know, like, I became a plumber by trade, but it wasn't because I played Super Mario Bros. As a kid. Exactly. You know what I mean? I mean, I played a lot of Counter-Strike 1.6 when I was younger, and I don't, you know, go out and pretend I'm, like, capturing hostages and stuff like that. Exactly. So it's just blown out of proportion sometimes. Yeah. But anyway, maybe we can hit that topic next week, because that's definitely something that a lot of people have strong opinions on, and also I'm sure we both do, so it'd be good to talk about. Yeah. Anyway, any news this week? Not so much in news, but got a pickup that I've been after for quite some time, actually, and I thought it was a very good price, and that was Kirby's Adventure on the Wii. Now, for the last couple of years, I've been trying to find it quite cheap, because it was usually selling for about $75. But I happened to pick it up for $35 complete, and I was quite happy with that. So this is a Wii release game, which is in the same... It's in the same contents as... Dreamland? Yeah, like that. So it's a side-scroller platformer. Yeah, and it's got King Dedede and Meta Knight in it as well, so you can do 4 characters, but it is the side-scrolling platform. It did get bad, or not bad reviews, but not the best reviews, because it was more of your basic Kirby game. And personally, I like that style. I don't want it to try something new and fresh, like it was that Kirby's Rainbow Ride that you recently got. Like, that was different. That was with the stylus, and you draw a path. I personally like that side-scroller where you keep going along, suck in your enemies, get new moves from them. It's sort of almost like Mega Man a little bit. You know, you get the upgrade. Like, that's the thing with that Kirby... What was it called? Like, Paintbrush, or I don't know what it was. I got that on release. Got home and played it, and I was expecting a side-scrolling platforming game, but it was completely different. You know, I probably put like 2 hours into it.
And that was that. Like,
and that was that.
That game will just fall into obscurity over time.
Yeah.
Like, that'll probably be one of the games where people look back and go, oh, that's such a rare game.
Yeah.
So... But I don't understand. Like, why do they make these decisions? I don't know.
I know. Stick with what's good and improve on it.
Yeah, definitely.
I hear you've been picking up a few strategy guides.
I have. Today in the mail I got Resident Evil 6. Also got the Renaissance of Fate guide, which is very hard to come by. I had to order it from Germany.
Okay.
I'm just hoping it's in English. I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at picking up the Street Fighter 5 guide, but I'm interested to see what's going to be in it because the game isn't complete, so how could they possibly have a complete guide?
Yep. Okay.
But yeah, I'm still chasing the Xenoblade Chronicles guide. I'm just trying to quickly think of what I got. I know I got the Diablo guide, but other than that, they're not really jumping out at me right now, which is a shame. Oh, that's right, I got Super Mario Sunshine.
Oh, cool.
So that'll be good because I never finished the game, so it'll be good to go through that with the guide.
If you saw the last podcast, I was playing a bit of the first level.
Yeah.
So that guide may come in handy, actually.
Oh, I actually got Resident Evil 3 guide.
Okay.
Which was really obscure to find, and...
Is that Nemesis?
Yeah, the guy wanted $40 for it plus $8 postage, and I made him an offer of $20 and he took it.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was really good. I also got the Kingdom Hearts 1 guide. These are games that I've beaten or have almost beaten.
Yeah.
And I just feel that having the guide, I don't know, I just like the idea of having like the guides to the games. Well, if I get them cheap, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm happy to pay a little bit extra for certain guides because they're harder to come by.
Yeah, definitely. If you've got the game and the guide to go with it, it feels like more of a complete set, in my opinion.
Well, that's right. And if I ever was to sell it, I'm sure I could sell them together for that little bit extra.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got the Resident Evil 5 guide, Resident Evil 6 guide. I've just been sort of focusing on guides lately, to be honest.
That's good. And any games at the moment?
Yeah, well, I got Remember Me on Xbox 360. I got Freedom Wars on the Vita today, along with Street Fighter.
You've been looking for Freedom Wars for a while.
Yeah, I've sort of got a cart on Oz Game Shop which has all the games, the new games that I want.
Yep.
But then I usually find them out in the wild cheaper, so I'll just go into my wish list and cross them off.
Okay.
If I can't find them, I'll usually just get them at some point off Oz Game Shop.
So you use it as like a reference in a way?
Yeah, because otherwise I tend to forget what I'm looking for.
Yep.
I know a lot of people do that in different ways, but I'd sort of class myself as just a general collector of games. Yep. I don't really say I'm only going to get Super Nintendo.
Okay.
I'm only going to get PS1. I am really interested in collecting the new games too because I do enjoy playing them. In some ways, I enjoy playing them more than I do the old consoles, just because it's easy to set up. Your friends are online, you can talk to them while you're playing. But at the same time, if I ever came across an old retro game in the wild, I wouldn't pass up on it. You know what I mean? I got some games the other day, but I'm just trying to recall what they were from. Oh man, what was it?
You're always sending me images of what you picked up.
I might have them on my phone here. Just give me a second.
Recently, I actually saw on YouTube there's this guy in, I believe it was Canada, who actually got all the Wii games.
I saw that too, yeah.
That is crazy because 80% of that is just shovelware. It's just crap.
Yeah, it's really, really crap. There's a lot of shovelware on pretty much every console, but I think the Wii was the master shovel.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Maybe Shovel Knight should have come out on. Maybe it should be Shovel Knight versus the Wii collection for the next title, the sequel. But yeah, I also got a game I've been looking at for ages. I'm talking ages on the PS3. I'm not sure if it's rare, but it's always been expensive, and I think it's called El Shaddai. Shaddai.
Okay.
What else did I get? Beyond. Not Beyond Good and Evil, but Beyond...
Two Souls?
Two Souls, yeah. Yep. The Batman Arkham Origins guide. That one there.
Deus Ex?
Deus Ex, yeah. Got that for $4, so...
Oh, that's a bargain. That's actually a very good game.
Yeah, well, EB Games is just showing out a lot of their stuff at the moment. And Metal Gear Rising was the other one I got, so...
Oh yeah, I picked that up the other day as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's what inspired me to get it. I'm like, I'd love to play that game because I heard it's a hack and slash.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like those kind of games. If you ever want to play a good hack and slash game, play Crimson Tears on the PS2.
Okay.
I love that game.
Yep.
So yeah, it's not hard to find, but it's really, really cool.
Crimson Tears.
Yeah, give that a crack.
Alright, cool.
Yeah, so a few things this week. Mainly guides, but also some games.
That's good. You seem like you got quite the collection this week. Well, I've just got the one game.
Well, yeah, I'm actually trying to cut back a little bit, but the thing is, you can't really pass up on the sales.
Yeah.
And I know when I get my house in a few weeks that I'll be cutting down to the point where it'll be like you going, yeah, I got all this, and this, and it'll be me saying, oh, I only got, this free game I found in the street. Yeah, so, anyway. But, yeah, let's talk about Crash Bandicoot's revival. Well, possible revival. What does this mean for Spyro the Dragon? Where is Croc?
I actually would love to see another Croc game.
Anyway, but yeah, there was rumours...
Spyro the Dragon.
Spyro.
Spyro?
Spyro.
Spyro's not a great...
Farfetched?
Well, Spyro's got his Skylander, so he's still around. But Crash Bandicoot, now I believe it's gone back to Sony. Activision bought him out not too long ago, or a few years ago, and that's when we stopped seeing them.
Didn't Naughty Dog have it?
It was Naughty Dog, which was under Sony, and then I believe it went to Activision, and then when they went down, it's come back to Sony, which could see a potential new revival of the game.
So are we going to see like a Crash Team Racing with, say, the characters from The Last of Us as possible drivers?
That would be awesome.
It's interesting to see what animation style they'll go with if they do release a new Crash game. Are we going to see like really detailed graphics to the point where he's got fur and stuff, or are we just going to see that traditional style of awesome graphics, but it's just more smoothed off?
I would like to see really good graphics, but keep it in the old PlayStation sense, or the first PlayStation, where you just pretty much going in front.
Yeah, so you don't want to see like a detailed, emotional story of like where Crash is like living with his sister, and then that polar bear that she rides gets like stabbed in the neck, and then he has to go and fight.
That's a bit too much for a Crash Bandicoot game.
You just want to see something basic, I
want to see some basic to bring back the good old memories of the PlayStation 1 games. Like,
what would be really good?
Yep.
Crash Bandicoot 4. Just none of this bloody Origins or whatever. Just go Crash Bandicoot 4 straight down the middle. Don't make a big deal out of it. Bring it out. That's it.
No. I'd be happy with that.
Tell me if there is anyone out there that disagrees with that. Please leave a message for me, because it'd be nice to just see, like, again, Donkey Kong Country 4.
Mm-hmm.
Crash Bandicoot 4.
I agree.
Mario. What is it? 5, 6? I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be probably Mario 4.
Yeah, they did it with Mario Kart this year, or last year. Why don't they just do it with Crash Bandicoot?
Yeah, no, I agree. I would actually love to see number 4. No side thing, just number 4.
The people who are going to be buying it are people that are in their mid-20s or late 20s now, so
yeah,
let's not beat around the bush here and think that just because it's a kid's game that you're going to have kids buying it. No one knows who Crash Bandicoot is that's under the age of 18.
That's true. So, well, when's the last one that got produced? Was it like for the Xbox One?
Wasn't there an iPhone game or something?
There could have been.
Xbox One.
Not the Xbox One, but like the original Xbox.
Yeah.
I believe I've got a copy on the Xbox.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it's called.
Yeah,
that's why it didn't have that effect on me.
PS2 game, I remember it. Can't remember what it's called.
Is it Nitro or something?
Yeah, there was a Nitro card on PS2, which was good.
Yeah. But after that, we just saw a disappearance of the Crash Bandicoot name.
That was a good era for PS2 collecting, when the PS3 was probably 3 years in. PS2 games just dropped to like nothing at all. They were like literally like $4. I remember I got Silent Hill 4 The Room for like $4.
Oh wow,
and that's like you don't come across that every day.
No, you don't.
Good times. Anyway, so we've talked a little bit about that, but I mean, we always talk about games that we'd like to see be remade. I mentioned Spyro the Dragon.
Spyro the Dragon?
Yeah, Croc is another one. There's all these Gex.
Oh yeah, Gex.
What's happening with Gex?
Gex the Gecko.
Gex the Gecko. He was a PlayStation mascot for a short time.
Yep.
So
it was good.
We got Crash Bandicoot. We want to see because that's really something that PlayStation has hidden away there.
Yeah.
Like we all know about Banjo-Kazooie and all those games, but it'd be interesting to see PlayStation just come out and go, "Let's do this,"
Yeah.
and bring out some original characters from the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't want them to overdo it where they lose their appeal in a way, though.
Yeah.
It has to be something good.
Yeah, you see, we get plenty of Sonic games every so often that it is shit.
Yeah.
I think Sonic made a really good move by purchasing Atlas, because everyone knows Atlas make really good games.
Yeah.
And the good thing about that is they didn't touch the production team, but like that build those games.
Yeah.
They're still good. Maybe it's time for them to say, here's Sonic. Instead of the Sonic team, let's get Atlas to make a game.
Okay.
And get some sort of game out of it, and work with them and make a really cool Sonic game. That's an idea.
That'd be interesting.
Maybe an idea is to get Capcom to say, okay, Capcom's making some terrible choices.
Yeah.
Let's hand it over let's lease it out to someone.
Yeah.
And make some titles on it and just see what happens. I'm sure they could come to some agreement with, say, Atlas or Sega, Nintendo. Make some, because they used to work with Nintendo when they did games.
Yeah, they definitely did.
Yeah, so, why couldn't they do that and just see what comes out of it? The only people that are going to benefit from it are the fans, and if the fans are happy with it, they're going to make money off it.
Would you agree that two of your big names, like Capcom and Konami, are just going a bit downhill recently?
Well, Konami's gone as far as I was aware.
Yeah.
I don't really know... To be honest, the only company I really care about anymore is Atlas, and that's part of Sega, so I really like Sega and Nintendo. And it's just really the only two that I actually give a shit about, because also Naughty Dog, I actually look at what they make, because they make quality games.
I love Naughty Dog. They're probably my favourite company.
Yeah, so everything else, I used to be really interested in what Capcom were doing, because they made really cool fighting games, but now, to be honest, after this mess today, I just can't think of anything coming up that I'm really excited about.
I can't believe they've screwed up this much.
Well, yeah, they haven't screwed up. It's just they've done what they sort of said they weren't going to do, and they've just made the fans suffer again with lack of content. It'll take a real good year for them to turn it around, like maybe some back-to-back titles, like a new Mega Man or something like that. But I don't think that's going to happen.
No, it won't. I don't know what they're going to do.
We always talk about it, like they have all these games in their arsenal to release or make, but they just don't do it.
Yeah.
Like there's Mega Man, there's Banjo-Kazooie, there's Crash Bandicoot,
Yeah.
Why don't they work on these titles? Or build off franchises that were successful, like Mario Sunshine, Donkey Kong 64, stuff like that. Why don't they do it?
I don't know. Maybe they're just not trying to live in the past and try to create something fresh, but in the way they are living in the past.
See, if you look at Call of Duty, it's always the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's successful.
Yeah, it is.
And we see that they're remaking Final Fantasy VII, and that's going to be massive.
It will be massive.
So, I don't understand. Why not just do the same thing? No one cares. When you hear someone, it's just the same thing again. You hear that with, Guitar Hero and Call of Duty.
Yeah. You'll hear the complaints, but when the final product comes out, people love it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't get it.
I don't get it.
Something I'll never understand. Anyway, well, be sure to subscribe again, and thanks for listening, and that's it for today.
Alright guys, have a good one.
Catch you later.